I don't know. Just feel the need to talk about this. Probably because I just had a conversation with a good friend of mine about it, and she actually had the same opinion I did. So that leads me to believe that maybe other people have the same opinion about this Bezos wedding. And it doesn't feel like a wedding, it feels like a publicity stunt that you would see in the high society celebrity world. Um, because what you don't see in this massive coverage of this, what's supposed to be a very important sacred time in your life when you marry somebody, what you don't see are children, families, best friends, colleagues, people that are in the trenches of your day-to-day life that you have developed long life connections with, that you want to be at a wedding when you are marrying and taking a sacred vow. Where were those people? Did anybody see any of those people? All I saw were, you know, supposedly A-list celebrities. I don't think the Kardashians by any stretch are A-list celebrities. I can't think of really anybody that I would consider A-list celebrities, really important people like Mel Gibson and John Voight and Clint Eastwood. And I mean, people who have really helped Hollywood's longevity. But the social media darlings of the Kardashians and all these other people that obviously were not friends. It was like going to some awards show and watching two people who, in my opinion, are ridiculously over the top with their affection. I find it very uncomfortable to watch. I just thought it was way over the top. The only thing I will say positive, and I said this already, is for once, this woman didn't have her tatas hanging out everywhere for everybody to gawk at. Now, I mean, her dress was beautiful. I don't particularly think that it was appropriate for her time in her life at her age, I think this is either her third or her fourth marriage. So I think that was just way, way too much. It was gorgeous, and it did look like Sophia Loren, but I just don't think it was appropriate for this time in her life with this marriage. And it just, in a time where the world and most people are struggling just to get by and live their life and potentially go away for 2 or 3 days to take their family to the beach or something, this was just like so in your face and like it was a facade, that it was a choreographed publicity stunt, and it took away from what's supposed to be such a sacred, important event in somebody's life, marrying somebody. I would have had more respect for these people if they had been in a gondola out in the middle of the city and had 2 or 3 people in a boat with them and got married, than this huge production. I mean, there was the wife of one of the world leaders at this wedding. I'm sorry, I just cannot believe that this particular world leader from the Middle East, his wife was there. And is she a friend of this couple? I don't know. The whole thing just didn't set right with me, and I thought, it just looked like somebody walked behind me there. That was weird. just didn't set right with me. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Do you think it was in good taste? Do you care? I just think there's so many more important things to be talking about in the world of social media and news to be worried about these two people getting married in such an over-the-top, extravagant production that no average human being would ever be able to participate in. That's the thing. And it's not envy or jealous, because I certainly wouldn't want a wedding to be that kind of thing. It just didn't come off right. It comes off very in your face, very entitled, and very distasteful. And like I said, the only thing in the entire production that I would say was tasteful was the dress. However, I don't think the dress should have been on the body. That's a wedding dress that a young first-time bride would wear. And I'm not saying anything, it doesn't have to be the color indicate anything. That's 50 years ago. I just think at her age, at her stage of her life, being a multiple marriage, a long cathedral lace-up wedding dress was just wasn't right. And the whole Vogue shoot and hanging out the window like she was some princess, and then turning around and standing under a tree with a t-shirt, a pair of underwear, and no bra on. I mean, what's that all about? I mean, all of it just, what do you think? Do you think that it was appropriate, non-appropriate, or do you just don't care? Because there's a lot of people that just don't care. I just think it's in poor taste. I think it's in poor taste under the current climate of everywhere in the world, not just in the United States, but everywhere in the world. What do you think?